I'm Mark.
And I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV, episode number 188. We're back after a month-long absence due to a variety of reasons, including the holiday shopping season keeping us busy here at the shop, some family issues that took me out of action for a little bit, some health issues. Not me, but my parents.
And then there was the devil flu that hit everyone.
Yes, the flu has hit our little section of Ohio harder than it has in the last 10 years. And yes, it made its way through half of the team.
Literally.
Yes. We did not film that. It would be very disgusting. But we're here, you know. Thank you for sticking around. If you're coming back to watch this, we may now only get 5 views because everyone has left because there was no new content. But let's dive into this week's batch of goodness. First off, there's some things we want to mention that we really liked, but they're not necessarily good jumping on points, or just to we had someone say many episodes ago, you haven't mentioned such and such in a while, do you still like it? Well, for me, as long as Dan Slott is writing Amazing Spider-Man, I will love it. So Amazing Spider-Man number 12 came out this week, part 4 of Spider-Verse. It is freaking awesome. I love this book more than life itself. And you have one that
The Fade Out by Ed Brubaker was awesome again this week. It doesn't even feel like it's only been out for 4 issues. This is the 4th week, but it was, again, great. Golden Age, noir, Hollywood. We get some actual, real famous people this time around as characters, which is very cool. And another neat backup story with the history of the Golden Age of Hollywood. So
2 great books that you should absolutely be reading. 4 number 1s this week, so we want to hit on those. First up, The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl.
I think it's Unstoppable.
It's Unbeatable?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She can't be beat?
Unbeatable Squirrel Girl number 1 by Ryan North and Erica Henderson. And surprisingly, I like this. Squirrel Girl has been a nanny to Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. She's apparently living in the Avengers.
Nanny to their daughter.
Yes. Because adults need nannies. To their daughter, what's-her-face. I don't even know what their daughter's name is.
I don't either.
Is she still around?
Yeah.
She's been retconned out of...
No, she's still around.
Squirrel Girl has the proportionate speed and strength of a squirrel. She has squirrel powers. And apparently has a loyal following. So you get everything you need to know about Squirrel Girl in this first issue. She's going off to college. She's going to have a secret identity. She has a name, but her name is her secret identity, not Squirrel Girl. She talks to her pet squirrel, Tippy Top, or Tip Top, or whatever his name is. Isn't that James Bond?
Her name.
That's a restaurant. Isn't that a restaurant in Hollywood? Her name, yes, it's a female squirrel. So bottom line with this, it's fun. It's fun, it's different, it's funny, it's light. She takes on Kraven the Hunter in this issue, and it is just very amusing and fun. So if you're looking for something fun, different, this is perfect for fans of books like Lumberjanes, or I'm tempted to say, like this new wave of books like Bee and Puppycat, and maybe Ms. Marvel, although this is much lighter fare than anything like that. So if you're just looking for a fun Marvel comic, and it may turn dark at some point because there is a tease at the end of the first issue that some major villain may make an appearance, and I don't know how Squirrel Girl, I can't say the name fast, is going to deal with it. But you liked it too.
Yeah, I did. And I think you talked about how much you love Dan Slott. A lot of the following of Squirrel Girl comes from her time with the Great Lakes Avengers, which was largely written by Dan Slott. He has a huge love of Marvel history, so he's able to insert her in weird ways. I mean, she's fought Galactus and Thanos. I'm sorry, she fought Thanos and Doctor Doom to a standstill, or even defeated them. And it's so much fun. I really like that they've gotten Ryan North writing this. It has the feel. He's an internet celebrity, I suppose. Dinosaur Comics is his best known work, although he also did Midas Touch over at Image. At Boom, and is probably best known for his work on the first 3 years of Adventure Time. He just came off the Adventure Time comic that's just been selling like gangbusters and winning Eisners every year.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it's fun, and I love. There's little. You can almost barely read them. There's little like asides from. It's almost like hover text on a webcomic.
Yeah, it's at the bottom of every page. It's in kind of a light brown, so you can barely read it. But it's her kind of inner monologue, isn't it?
I don't know if it's hers or is it the writer. I think it might be the writer. I don't know, but it's just great.
It's fun. It's a fun first issue and a nice palate cleanser from dark, scary things like Nailbiter, also out this week, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
We're recording this on Wednesday, which is the day after the Marvel premiered the the Ant-Man teaser So we've seen them, what, about a minute or so?
2 minutes, I think.
2 minutes of Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas being Hank Pym and
Scott
Lang, except the opposite of the way I said it. And today we have Ant-Man #1 on the shelves. This is written by Nick Spencer with art by Ramon Rosanas. I was not even close with that. But Nick Spencer is sort of a divisive figure in comics. You know, some of his books, like Morning Glories, have that kind of lost air where people loved it initially and then got frustrated with the formula. But he's most recently done Superior Foes of Spider-Man over at Marvel, which I loved and which I think this is stylistically similar to. And basically, it's Scott Lang. It's an introduction for, you know, if you know nothing about Scott Lang, this tells you everything you need to know. If you're interested in what's going to be, what kind of character we might see in the movie, I think this is probably a nice indicator. And it's fun. It's firmly rooted in the Marvel Universe. I mean, we've got Iron Man as a major player, lots of B-list characters. And yeah, it was just fun, light,
I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I, as much as I loved Amazing Spider-Man and I really liked Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, I think this is my pick of the week. It was really good, and there are a lot of pages. I didn't do the page count, but it's $1 more than other Marvel books, and I didn't look at the price till just now. But when I was reading it last night, I was thinking, man, this is a long comic. Yeah. There's a lot of content in it. So yes, if you enjoyed the 2 minutes of Ant-Man that you got on Agent Carter, this is a no-brainer, folks. This is a lot of what you saw in the trailer is available here. As far as expanding those relationships between Scott and his daughter, you know, you see the little girl in the trailer several times. There's mention of Hank Pym in here, and as Josh said, Tony Stark plays a key role in this issue, and it's superior Tony Stark, superior Iron Man. So
yes,
I loved it. Ant-Man #1, buy it. Next up is for me. We'll stay with Marvel. It's a Marvel kind of week, folks. Operation Sin #1 by Catherine Immonen and the Ellis guy who draws Rich Ellis. Okay, so let's go back again to ABC TV on Tuesday night. Agent Carter premiered. I loved it. He loved it. My kids loved it. My wife loved it. Everyone that I know enjoyed. Everyone that I know. I took a poll on Facebook and called everyone I know, and they all loved it. So if you're left wanting more Agent Carter, Operation Sin is for you. This takes place about 10 years after that episode that we saw last night, because this takes place in the early 1950s versus 1946, which is when the premiere episode took place. And it's just, the characterization is right. I mean, having just seen Howard Stark and Peggy Carter on TV and the way that they interacted with each other and the characterizations, I feel like Catherine Immonen really nailed it. And it's an adventure that is tied a little bit to Original Sin. That's why the cover looks like the cover to Original Sin, involving some alien technology and the Watcher, the Watcher on the moon, not Uatu.
The Watcher on the wall.
The Watcher on the wall.
What they called him? Or?
Whoever held that position before Nick Fury took over as the one that protected us all from the big bads of space, much like Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men, protecting us from all the evil in the world. Operation Sin, good stuff. You liked it, right?
I did. I enjoyed it, and I liked the way they made it. It's set in the Marvel Universe continuity, which has some differences in Peggy Carter's history to the movie continuity. They did a great job of acknowledging those, but at the same time not focusing on it, you know, just making it so that it was easily understandable to people who were only familiar with her from the TV show or from the movie.
Yeah, and I just kept thinking, you know, this is perfect for anybody that watched that show and wants to know more or read more, experience more with Agent Carter.
Golden.
Yeah.
All right, next up, from the pen of Charles Soule, we have Wolverines #1, an all-new weekly series from Marvel. Hooray!
Weekly series.
So for those of you who have been keeping score, Death of Wolverines ended 2 months ago, roughly?
Something like
3 months ago. And then coming out of that, we had Life After Logan and Weapon X. Charles Soule wrote the bookend issues of Life After Logan, which focused on 6 characters close to Logan and their reactions to his death. And then he wrote all of the Weapon X series, which was about, if you read The Death of Wolverine, about the other experimental people who were set free and what happened to them after they left the program. And Wolverines brings those two groups back together to see the continuation, and it's very much what you should be reading after Death of Wolverine. This picks up perfectly. If you care about Wolverine and what happened in that book, this takes you right from the end and moves the story forward. Interestingly enough, and you may know this, I wasn't sure, this is inverted Sabretooth, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, at the end of AVX Axis, I'm sorry, Avengers and X-Men Axis, some characters got to sneak off and still be inverted. That's why Tony Stark's a jerk. And Havoc, I believe, is still a bad boy.
Yeah.
And Sabretooth is on the side of the angels, except he's still Sabretooth and everyone still thinks he's a murdering jerk.
Yeah, the last couple pages of Axis 9, where you get to focus on Sabretooth, and basically he was in his right mind when he made that decision. I mean, not his old evil mind, but he consciously decides to stay a good guy to try and live up to the spirit of Wolverine. So Sabretooth, Victor Creed, is on the side of the angels now. And that's honestly one of the most appealing things about this series to me, is getting to see Sabretooth play the role of good guy. But I enjoyed it. Nick Bradshaw does the artwork, who does some really great stuff, very reminiscent of Art Adams, except for the last 2 pages, and that's kind of jarring. I don't know why you can't finish the book and do the last 2 pages, but we had somebody else do the art for the last couple pages. So Wolverines is going to be a weekly series from Marvel. It's out.
And next up, or finally up, we've got Angela, Asgard's Assassin #2, written by Kieran Gillen, art by Phil Jimenez. And then we also get a backup story with art by Stephanie Hans that is co-written by Marguerite Bennett with Kieran Gillen. And this is not so much a you need to read this as a you should probably read this. The first issue of this series was super Asgardian and super wordy. It started right in the middle of the story, which had a nice shock value and kind of got you interested, but was not, in my estimation, the best first issue ever. It was a little tough to follow because you didn't have all the information. This worked much, much better for me. It had more of the humor that we typically see with Kieran Gillen's work, and it also broke the story out in a way that was more understandable. You understand why all the things happened the way they happened in the first issue, and you get to see a lot more of the Marvel, the characters you care about, Thor and his family, and Loki. Loki's especially good in this, commenting on, because Angela's sort of an outsider, but she's still part of the Asgardian family now that it's been revealed she's Thor and Loki's sister, and so he's sort of commenting on, ironically, on he's no longer the black sheep, or he's no longer the only black sheep. So if the first issue didn't do it for you, but you usually like Gillen stuff, you may want to check out the second issue of Angela, because I think it definitely was better.
These are the books that we wanted you to know more about. Of course, there were lots of other things that came out this week from other publishers. As I'm looking at what we talked about,
it was
today,
all Marvel.
It's very Marvel-centric. And there are a couple of reasons for that. I think that Marvel is doing some amazing stuff right now. But I grew up with Marvel Comics. Marvel was my publisher of choice in my formative years, and it's very hard for me to drift away from that. But I'm also a comic shop retailer, and I don't discriminate against any publisher. It just so happens that I think Marvel is doing some of the best stuff that's out there today.
Yeah, and then part of it is just the week. I mean, DC didn't really put out anything. Yeah. I mean, they had their weeklies still come out, but I mean, none of the big A-list titles were really shipping from DC this week. So.
For the very reason that we talked about these new #1s, people may hate Marvel because they're stopping and starting and stopping and starting all the time, whereas DC, for the most part, stays consistent. Once they start a book, if it sells, it continues at the same numbering, and they don't, do the all-new, whatever.
Except for the 3 books they've done that with this year.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what happens come March, April, and May when DC does Convergence, yes. Especially April and May when there are no DC books published except for the 2-issue Convergence miniseries. So it's going to be an interesting time. And then very briefly before we let you go here, Josh and I both have had a chance to read Star Wars #1, which comes out next week, and I'm telling you this now because the video may not go up. We may not even do a video next week, I don't know. This is kind of week to week, depending on what's going on here at the shop. But Star Wars #1, I loved it.
I loved it.
Jason Aaron, John Cassaday really captured the feel of the original trilogy, both in characterization and dialogue and the art style, and the whole package is there. Star Wars #1 comes out on January 14th. We will have tons of copies here. We're going to have lithographs, we're going to have pins, we're going to have variant covers, we're going to have a Star Wars sale going on if you're in the area. But for anybody, regardless of where you are, if you're at all a Star Wars fan, you have to pick up Star Wars #1. It kicks off the year of Star Wars with a bang. That's it for me. That's it for Josh. We'll see you next time.